Hey everybody, today's going to be a little bit different video than I normally do. It's not quite a review, but it's something that I wanted to show you guys that I picked up recently at the Indiana YouTube meetup from a friend of mine. And what I got was a MSR Whisperlite stove. Now these things have been around forever, and by no means are ultralight. I mean, the thing is huge. 22-ounce fuel bottle with it, plus the pump, so lots of moving parts. It's heavy, whatever it is, but definitely not ultralight. But what I like about it is in the winter time, these things perform great. They're not like the regular, the isobutane stoves or whatever, when I've had those get cold and not perform that great. But these things in the winter time run and work great. They just run off a white gas like your normal. What I'm using in it is the regular camp fuel. It's just white gas, so performs a lot better in the winter months. So I got this stove, messed with it a little bit. My buddy gave it to me, so thank you. You know who you are. And it wasn't working quite right. So I thought, well, I'll bring it home. I'm going to clean it up. I'm just going to kind of show you guys my process of trying to clean this thing up and seeing if I can get it to work properly. Basically, the whole gist of these stoves, the way they work is you have your fuel bottle, you have your pump screws into the fuel bottle, and then the fuel line clips into the pump. And you pressurize fuel bottle with this pump on here, and it'll let the, it's got a valve on it, so it'll let the fuel go in. It goes into this little pan right here at the bottom of the stove, and you just want just a little bit of fuel to go into that pan right there, and you shut it back off. You light the fuel, and what that does is it'll actually heat up this fuel line here that has fuel in it. So it heats that up, so that way when the fuel comes through there, it's warm and it atomizes the fuel and lets it rise and spray up into the actual burner itself. So it's a pretty simple system, but it's a bomb-proof system. That's what I really wanted this stove for. Like I said, it's not super ultralight. Not everybody wants these stoves anymore because they're ancient, but the reliability in the cold winter months is what I was after. So I'm going to go through a little cleaning process. I've kind of looked up online too, a couple different problems it could be. I was getting a little bit of fuel in the pan, but it just seems like I'm not getting a good fuel flow. So I'm going to turn the camera around, show you what I'm doing with the stove and the processes I go through, and we'll see if we can get this thing to work. So not a lot of moving parts with this stove. Like I said, it's pretty simple, but fuel bottle, stove itself, and this is the actual fuel pump. So there are some, quite a few moving parts on this fuel pump. But one thing I have noticed, if I get into this and I need parts, they sell like little expedition kits and service kits for these things. Includes all the O-rings. There's all kinds of stuff that you can take apart on these. But basically, you have where your fuel line plugs into right there. You have the control valve on the top. You have your plunger, which pumps up the fuel or the air and pressurizes the fuel tank itself. Sorry about all the noise. I live on the busiest highway in America, I guess. But anyways, this when you pump, it puts air into the tank through here, and this is the actual fuel line pickup. So I've pumped it. Air's coming out, no problem. So there's a few things you can check. I'm not going to dig into this really deep unless I have to. But I know on the bottom here, you can twist this piece. I don't know if I can twist it by hand or not. There we go. I said it's hard saying how long it's been since this thing's been taken apart. But I may have to go get a screwdriver to get this out of here. Like I said, there's a lot of different videos online too that shows how all these things come apart. But there we go. That comes out like that. And then there's a spring with a little rubber ball on the bottom. They said to check that, see if it's dry rotted. It doesn't feel dry rotted. But like I said, you can actually get that ball replacement there too online. So that looked good. This O-ring here on the bottom, it looks like it's going to be in good shape. And like I said, I'm getting air out of there. So I don't think this is the clog. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check the fuel line itself. Like I said, it just plugs in right there, comes through into a hard line, goes to the top and back down There's actually a jet inside here too. So I am going to take this pan off the bottom, and I may need to get some pliers for that. We'll see. It seems like it's on there pretty tight. We're gonna get some pliers, and I'll see if I can't get this pan off. Okay, no pliers needed. Just seems like I had to grip it a little harder. That'll come off. And then this part here in the bottom, it all should come out. There we go, that pops out. And you can take it out of the leg here. Just fish it through. All right, so on the bottom there, that is the little jet where the fuel will come out of. So I'm gonna take that off and see if it's got any blockage in it. There's a chance I brought the right wrench. Fit the first time. None. All right, let me go grab a wrench. All right, grab 3 wrenches to start this, and is the correct size, but this is a 5/16. There you go, that was simple. Screw that off. And so that's all that's in there. It's just that little valve right there, or a little jet. So looks to me, I know you guys will never be able to see this, but looking through it, I can barely see through it. So I think we just need to clean this off with maybe a wire brush, maybe see if I can get some bristles. All right, I've just been just kind of, you know, scrubbing it like that lightly with the brush, and it's cleaning up pretty good. I've tried to poke some of the bristles down through there, and I actually got some of the bristles to go actually in the jet itself. Just one bristle. It's a little bitty jet. I'm sure it probably won't come out real good on camera, but that seems to be unclogged as well. Only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try just maybe taking some steel wool and some cleaner or something around here, and see if I just can't clean that pan up. And I don't know if you would see this on the camera either, but the bottom of that is really just sooty and everything. So I'm going to just take some steel wool, clean this stuff up, and maybe put it back together. Maybe that's all it needed was that jet cleaned out. See if we can get this thing going. All right, well, it cleaned up a little bit better. Like I said, it's a stove. Doesn't have to be super clean, but it's not so sooty anymore. And you know, as you can tell by my hands, I think it was pretty dirty. What I ended up doing was I just kind of scrubbed it down with, you know, I'm a redneck, whatever I had in the garage. I just used some engine degreaser, squirted a little bit on there very sparingly, and just took some steel wool and just kind of scrubbed it up. I don't think any of the dirt that was on this was actually keeping the stove from burning. I would venture to say it was probably in that little piece right there, in that little jet. So screw that back in there, tighten him down, and let's get this thing put back together and see if we can't get it to work. All right, well, I got this part of the stove back together. Like I said, the fuel line just runs through this leg and up through the burner part here, and then actually I'll take this back so you can see it here. The jet part of it goes right down into there, and then the pan screws right back on the bottom, kind of hold it all together. I'll get this stove put back together, show you how that goes. I'm not going to actually light it here on the table where I've been cleaning, but basically these bottles, they all come with a little cap, just when you're taking that off, take it off slow in case it's been pressurized by the temperature. So we'll take that off. Like I said, this is about half full. It's just got white gas in it. And then the pump, slide back down in there like that, and it screws on the top. Make sure you got your O-ring in there too, so you don't get any leakage. Snug that down. And then and this hole here is where your fuel line will plug into. And they do sell a lube for this, and I've seen a lot of guys spit on this too, just because I guess inside here there's an O-ring that you don't want to slide that in dry. No jokes needed. So let's get a little spit on there. Slide that in, and then it's got this little retaining clip that just kind of slides around. All right, move down here onto some concrete, and we're gonna see if we can't get this thing to go. So make sure your valve is turned in the off position. So using the plunger. Try to build some pressure in there. They say 15 to 20 times, somewhere around there. Probably depends on how much fuel you've got in the bottle itself. I can feel it getting a little harder to push in. Okay, now the trick to this, from what I've seen, is we're going to open our valve. Just let just a little bit of fuel into this pan. You don't want a whole lot or you're going to have major fire. But we're going to open her up and see if I can get any fuel to come in. Here it comes, just a little bit. Turn her back off. I think the key is, as soon as you see just a little bit of that fuel coming in, you want to shut it off, because I probably still have more than I want. Look at that. Fuel came through there really good. The last time I tried it, it just barely trickled, just enough. I couldn't hardly get any fuel in there. Move the camera back just a little bit. But that seemed to do the trick. I just, like I said, cleaned that jet out, and I think that's all it was, is that jet just had a little bit of soot left on it. But yeah, so far so good. That's way better than it did last time. So we're gonna let this burn down. And what it's actually doing right now is it's heating up this fuel line right there, the hard line. But you basically let it burn all the way down, burn almost all of this fuel out of that fuel pan. There we go, it's about done. I should be able to turn this valve on now and see if we can get anything out of here. You can hear it. Here we go. Voila. It's awesome. I'm pretty excited about that, because like I said, I couldn't get any fuel hardly to come out of the fuel line before and into this pan down here. But at that time it just came right out and was too fast. But once that heats this up, it just atomizes that fuel. Voila. So there you go. An old classic stove revived. It is definitely not the Ultralight stove you see every day, but it is a bomb-proof stove. These things have been around forever, and they really excel in the cold weather. Those butane propane mixed stoves, I found that they just don't work really well once it gets cold. So move my stove back a little bit more, man. It's getting warm in here. But yeah, wintertime, if you're just going short distance, this would be fine. You know, somewhere you're not worried about weight, or even car camping or truck camping. This thing seems to be working great. These, like I said, they've been around forever. I have no idea how old this one is, but it's working, and that's what matters. So there you go, the MSR Whisperlite, back to life. If you guys found any use in this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.